Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen.
The current Gaza war started on October 7 on the Jewish festival holiday called Shemini Atzeret. It is celebrated on the 22nd day of the Hebrew month of Tishrei in the land of Israel, usually coinciding with late September or early October. It directly follows the Jewish festival of Sukkot, which is celebrated for 7 days, and thus Shemini Atzeret is literally the 8th day. Sukkot's modern observation is characterized by festive meals in a sukkah, a temporary wood-covered hut celebrating the exodus from Egypt. Hence, 7-day Sukkot festival remembers the travails of Jews during their 40-year exile in Sinai region. Following Sukkot comes Shemini Atzeret, the 8th day. What is the significance of this day? As Shemini Atzeret follows Sukkot, it is a symbolic day of rehabilitation of Sinai Jews on Palestine lands, also called as Canaan. As the rehabilitation happened following the war that Moses waged on the Canaanites, Shemini Atzeret actually represents that war. In 2023, this day falls on October 7. It is on this day that Hamas attacked Israel. It looks like that this day was specifically chosen for the attack. I would explain. Moses of Egypt had to rehabilitate his Sinai exoded Jews on some land already possessed by other races. Among them, Moses chose the Palestine land under the advice of his God. Hence, he sent spies to explore the Canaan land. I will read out the Bible statement. The Lord said to Moses, "Send men to explore Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of their ancestors' tribe." Again, the Bible says, when Moses sent them to explore Canaan, he told them, "Go through the Negev and then into the mountain region. See what the land is like and whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. Is the land they live in good or bad? Do the cities have walls around them or not? Is the soil rich or poor? Does the land have trees or not? Do your best to bring back some fruits from the land." Of the 12 spies sent by the Moses, Caleb and Joshua alone promised victory for the Jews. Then Moses starts the war to claim the Canaan land for his people. I will now read Exodus 23:23. "My angel will go ahead of you and bring you into the land of Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I will wipe them out." Remember the last sentence, "I would wipe them out." Moses actually represents 3 successive pharaohs of Egypt. They are Thutmose I, Thutmose II, and Thutmose III. It was Thutmose I who inflicted 10 plagues on Egyptian people. It was during Thutmose II's reign that Exodus actually happened. It was Thutmose III who made war with the Canaanites and wiped them all out and then rehabilitated the 12 tribes of Jacob in Canaan. It was this war that is represented by Shemini Atzeret festival. According to the Jews, Shemini means 8 and Atzeret means the day of assembly. But this is wrong. Most Jews don't know the real meaning of most of the Jewish festivals. Only Zionists know their actual meanings. Actually, Shemini Atzeret means Gemini and 8-horse-driven chariot. This is named after Mahabharata epic war of South India that happened 5000 years ago. Gemini represents Saguni and Gandhari of Mahabharata, and that Saguni is cast here as Jacob, the biblical father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Mahabharata war is represented by Jacob wrestling with the angel all over one night on the banks of the river Jebak. That angel is nothing but Krishna of Mahabharat, and that Krishna is represented by number 8, which is the at in Atzeret, and Zaret represents chariot. That is how the war of rehabilitation was called Shemini Atzeret. Explaining the connection of Mahabharat with Shemini Atzeret to non-Tamils would be a huge task and is beyond the scope of this video. But you shall trust my word for the truth of it. In nutshell, Shemini Atzeret represents the war that Thutmose III waged with the ancient Palestinians 3,400 years ago, wiping all the Palestinians out and rehabilitating the Sinai Jews in Canaan. Hence, Thutmose III's campaign driven the people of Canaan to nearby states as refugees and then wiped out the remaining Canaanites by genocide before housing the Sinai Jews in Canaan. The map of Thutmose III's reign is shown here. Now that Hamas attacked Israel on Shemini Atzeret, which falls on October 7 in 2023, it actually represents the repeat of Thutmose III saga, proving that Netanyahu stated that he would deport all the Gaza people to other countries like Congo, which represents the fleeing of people to nearby lands as refugees during Thutmose III's campaign. The kind of genocidal war that is being waged on Gaza by Netanyahu is a repeat of what Thutmose III did 3,400 years ago, wiping out all the Palestinians from their homeland and taking possession of the entire Palestinian land by the Jews. Hence, as it is the planned repeat of what Thutmose III did 3,400 years ago, Hamas attacked Israel on the day of Shemini Atzeret. But how could Hamas have attacked Israel on a day that symbolizes their own destruction? Hence, this war wasn't started by Hamas. It is 100% true. This war was instigated by Israel with the help of Qatar, who are supposed to be the well-wishers of Hamas. Yes, Hamas' attack on October 7, 2023 was instigated by Netanyahu himself with the help of Qatar to repeat what Thutmose III did to Palestinians 3,400 years ago. How do I say? Kindly read the New York Times article titled "Buying Quiet Inside the Israeli Plan That Propped Up Hamas," published on December 10, 2023. Let me read a few paragraphs of that article. Qatar's work in Gaza during this period was blessed by Israeli government, and Mr. Netanyahu even lobbied Washington on Qatar's behalf. In 2017, as Republicans pushed to impose financial sanctions on Qatar over its support for Hamas, he dispatched senior defense officials to Washington. The Israelis told American lawmakers that Qatar had played a positive role in Gaza Strip, according to the three people familiar with the trip. Yossi Kupperwasser, a former head of research for Israel's military intelligence, said that some officials saw the benefits of maintaining an equilibrium in the Gaza Strip. The logic of Israel was that Hamas should be strong enough to rule Gaza, he said, but weak enough to be deterred by Israel. Do you understand now? Obviously, it was Netanyahu who instigated Hamas via Qatar to attack Israel on the day of Shemini Atzeret to repeat the genocidal war that Thutmose III waged on Palestinians 3,400 years ago. It pays to learn that Gaza was named after Krishna of Mahabharat as Asan, Sasan, Gazan, Gaza during the reign of Thutmose III, so that this repetition could happen now. It also pays to learn that World War I is the repeat of Ramayan War of South India, and World War II is a repeat of Mahabharat War of South India. World War III is expected to be the repeat of Kalabra War of South India that happened 1700 years ago. The Kalabra War happened after smallpox epidemic, and here it is the corona pandemic. Yes, Gaza War is a repeat of what Thutmose III did 3,400 years ago. Thus, after cleansing Gaza of its people, Netanyahu would repeat the same with the West Bank and wipe out all the Palestinians from their homeland. Obviously, it is a planned genocidal war, and that is what is actually happening in Gaza. We shall now consider what this October 7 war have in common with the October Revolution of Russia. October Revolution was a communist revolution spearheaded by Lenin. It happened on October 25 in the year 1917. 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Hence, October Revolution is the October 7 of Russia. Hence, these two should have a common ground. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza through indiscriminate killings and causing famine, similar to what Lenin and Stalin did to Russia. We know that communism was a handiwork of Rothschilds through Adam Weishaupt and Karl Marx. Communism is an ideological means of destroying the world of non-Jewish people. This is the essence of communism. That is why communism is associated with the famine and genocide. According to the Jews, the whole world is the Eden Garden for them. That means the non-Jewish people of the world should perish. Do you remember the Georgia Guidestones that advised the reduction of world population to 50 million? In accordance with that, Lenin seems to have committed genocide of 35 million Russian people through famine and other means. Lenin was a half Jew and the stooge of the Ashkenazi Jews of Europe. This was followed by Stalin, who was also a Jew, who followed Lenin and committed genocide of 70 million Russian people. This was followed by Mao Zedong of China and Pol Pot of Cambodia, both genocidal regimes. Obviously, it is true that communism is a destructive ideology designed to exterminate the non-Jewish people of the world. Hence, October 7, which is the October Revolution of Palestine, is a genocidal war instigated by Israel through Qatar. But the Palestinian Hamas have outsmarted Netanyahu, building underground tunnels and the planned involvement of Hezbollah and Houthis, and hence this Armageddon would destroy Israel. Times have changed. Thutmose III saga can't be repeated. It is Satya Yuga, the era of truth. According to the historical and biblical evidence presented here, river to the sea belongs only to the Palestinians. For a lasting peace in the Middle East, the Jews should completely vacate Palestine and go back to the places where they came from. America too should vacate Middle East and should not meddle with the affairs of other nations. America is responsible for World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, Afghan War, Iraq War, Libya War, and many more genocidal wars and famines. We don't blame the common people of America. We blame the Ashkenazi Jews who control and operate America behind the Iron Curtain.